In the depths of the Amazon rainforest, there was a small village called Arakaari, named after the colorful toucan-like birds that inhabited the region. The village was mostly self-sufficient, living off the rich resources of the jungle, and consisted of a tight-knit community who relied on each other for survival. The villagers had heard tales of an ancient abandoned temple, shrouded in mystery and believed to be cursed. They warned their children never to venture too far into the jungle, for fear of the spirits that resided there. One day, a group of 6 young, adventurous friends, feeling invincible and curious about the world outside their village, decided to venture into the heart of the jungle in search of the fabled temple. They believed that the spirits were mere legends meant to scare children, and dismissed the warnings of their elders. They spent weeks preparing for the journey, gathering food, tools, and other essential supplies. On the morning of their departure, the village elder, sensing their determination, reluctantly shared a piece of advice with the young explorers. If you find the temple, be sure not to anger the spirits that dwell within. Respect their home, and they may let you leave unharmed. The friends nodded solemnly, but excitement still coursed through their veins. For days, the group trekked through the dense jungle, encountering all manner of wild creatures and battling harsh weather conditions. Finally, they stumbled upon the entrance to the temple, overgrown with vines and almost invisible to the untrained eye. The friends marveled at the intricate carvings and statues that adorned the ancient structure, and as they cautiously ventured inside, they could feel the weight of countless untold stories and legends bearing down upon them. The temple's interior was dark and damp, illuminated only by the flickering torches they carried. As they explored the ancient corridors, they began to notice strange symbols and markings on the walls, which seemed to shift and change with every glance. The air grew colder and heavier, filling them with a sense of unease. Ignoring their growing trepidation, the friends pressed on, driven by their thirst for adventure and the promise of undiscovered treasures. They reached a large chamber deep within the temple, where they discovered a magnificent golden idol perched atop a pedestal. The idol was surrounded by piles of ancient coins and precious gemstones, which seemed to glimmer and gleam with an otherworldly light. Overwhelmed by the sight of such wealth, the friends momentarily forgot the warnings of the village elder. They eagerly began to gather the treasure, stuffing their bags with gold and jewels. As they did so, they noticed the temperature in the chamber plummeting rapidly, and an eerie silence descended upon them. Suddenly, the torches were extinguished, plunging the chamber into complete darkness. Panic set in as the friends fumbled to relight the torches, but their efforts were in vain. They could feel a presence in the room with them, a malevolent force that seemed to be closing in. One by one, the friends were gripped by an unseen hand and hurled against the chamber walls, leaving them battered and disoriented. The darkness lifted as quickly as it had arrived, and the friends found themselves lying on the cold stone floor, surrounded by the treasure they had foolishly attempted to steal. They realized too late that they had angered the spirits that guarded the temple. The friends, now terrified and desperate to escape, abandoned their dreams of wealth and stumbled out of the temple, vowing never to return. The journey back to Arakaari was long and treacherous, as the spirits seemed to follow and torment them at every turn. The once vibrant group of friends was now a shell of their former selves, their spirits broken by the horrors they had witnessed. The jungle seemed to close in on them, and every rustle or snap of a twig set their nerves on edge. When they finally reached the outskirts of Arakaari, their families and friends barely recognized them. Their youthful enthusiasm had been replaced by haunted expressions, and they had aged far beyond their years. As they recounted their harrowing tale to the village, the elder looked upon them sadly, knowing that the spirits of the forsaken jungle had exacted their price. In the months that followed, the friends struggled to return to their normal lives. The memories of their experience in the temple continued to torment them, and they were plagued by nightmares of the vengeful spirits they had encountered. they found solace only in each other, as they were the only ones who truly understood the horrors they had endured. In the early 20th century, amidst the vast expanses of the Sahara Desert, a group of archaeologists led by the renowned Professor Thomas Sinclair embarked on an expedition to uncover the mysteries of an ancient civilization rumored to have once thrived in the region. Local tribespeople spoke of a hidden temple, said to contain the riches and knowledge of a long-forgotten kingdom. Despite the skeptical reception of his colleagues, Sinclair was determined to unveil the truth behind the legend. Sinclair and his team spent months preparing for the expedition, gathering supplies, hiring local guides, and researching possible locations of the temple based on the tribespeople's tales. They set off in high spirits, eager to uncover the secrets of the desert. The journey was arduous, with the relentless sun and suffocating sandstorms testing the limits of both the team's physical and mental fortitude. Despite the harsh conditions, they pressed on, driven by Sinclair's unwavering determination and passion for discovery. After weeks of searching, the team finally stumbled upon the entrance to a hidden temple buried beneath the sand dunes. As they excavated the entrance, they marveled at the intricate carvings and craftsmanship that had withstood the test of time. Once inside, they found the temple walls adorned with exquisite murals depicting the rise and fall of a long-lost civilization. The further they ventured into the temple, the more they began to notice a peculiar atmosphere. It felt as though they were being watched, and an eerie silence hung heavy in the air. Despite their growing unease, Sinclair and his team pressed on, driven by their thirst for knowledge and the tantalizing prospect of unearthing priceless artifacts. In the heart of the temple, they discovered a massive chamber, illuminated by a shaft of sunlight that pierced through an opening in the ceiling. At the center of the chamber stood a magnificent golden sarcophagus, adorned with jewels and intricate engravings. As they approached the sarcophagus, they noticed a warning inscribed in an ancient language, which Sinclair translated as, "Disturb not the slumber of the king, lest his curse befall you." In their excitement and curiosity, the team chose to ignore the warning, and with great effort, they managed to pry open the sarcophagus. Inside, they found the remarkably preserved remains of a long-dead king, clad in gold and precious stones. Overcome by the significance of their discovery, they decided to remove the artifacts and transport them back to civilization for further study. As they prepared to leave the temple, they suddenly found themselves enveloped in darkness. The shaft of sunlight that had illuminated the chamber vanished, replaced by an oppressive, inky blackness. The temperature inside the temple plummeted, and a chilling wind seemed to rise from the depths of the earth. As the team scrambled to find their way out of the temple, they began to hear whispers in the darkness, unintelligible yet menacing. One by one, they felt the icy grip of an unseen force tightening around their throats, choking them into unconsciousness. When they awoke, they found themselves lying in the sand outside the temple entrance, the artifacts they had collected strewn around them. Terrified and disoriented, the team quickly gathered their belongings and fled the site, leaving behind the treasures they had so eagerly sought. The journey back to civilization was fraught with misfortune. Illness, injury, and mysterious accidents plagued the group, as if the curse of the ancient king had followed them. Upon their return, the surviving members of Sinclair's team found themselves ostracized by their peers, who believed their tale to be nothing more than a wild fabrication. Sinclair, his reputation in ruins, spent the rest of his life trying to prove the existence of the lost temple and the truth behind the curse. Despite his best efforts, he never managed to locate the temple again, and his once promising career faded into obscurity. The surviving members of the expedition, haunted by the memories of their harrowing experience, were left to grapple with the consequences of their actions. They lived out the rest of their lives under the shadow of the curse, plagued by nightmares and unexplained misfortunes. The desert, with its shifting sands and unforgiving nature, had reclaimed its secrets, ensuring that the hidden temple and its cursed king would remain undisturbed for all eternity. Years later, the story of Sinclair's doomed expedition became the stuff of legend, a cautionary tale whispered amongst archaeologists and desert travelers alike. The lost temple of the dunes, and the terrible curse that had befallen those who dared to disturb its slumber, remained a chilling reminder of the price to be paid for tampering with the mysteries of the past.